So we continuing third and the final session on chariot of life. We started with the descriptions of the body-mind complex as a chariot, and as it is, our mind is dictating everything. Mind equated to Arjun. Arjun's another name is Parth. Parth is derived from Prithvi. Prithvi means sansar. So Arjun is as much part of the sansar as our mind is. Mind is all about sansar. And we think that we can achieve something in sansar. So that's why the mind has become the doer, not realizing that there's something else is still there, which is the actual doer, and we are kind of interfering with the activity that should be coming from Krishna. So ultimate the goal of the discussion is to make us realize the chariot of life is better driven by Krishna than Arjun.
So Arjun means sansar,
Arjun means sansar. Arjun means our mind.
mind.
And mind is as much
It's
part
a
of the
reflection
sansar.
a reflection of
Even
sansar.
though we are holding on to our mind,
Yeah.
our mind is rented out to the sansar.
Yeah, it's a reflection of sansar.
It is, yes,
you know,
exactly.
Our perception of the rest.
But
of
what
the
I'm
world.
saying is, like when people say that my mind,
Mm.
it's a fallacy, because their mind is not their mind anymore, at least the way it is right now. Even though we do have a choice of making choices in our life and all that, but how much our choices are influenced by the sansar makes us realize that even though our mind, we call it our mind, is a lot of times is not our mind. We are dictated by somebody else's ideas, somebody else's thoughts, somebody else's influence on us, somebody's shape, size, looks, somebody's taste. All those things influence us. So ultimately mind is really working for the sansar. So Arjun is represented by our mind. And there is no difference between Arjun and Krishna. Arjun can turn into Krishna if it gets rid of the sansar. Not physically, but at the mind level. If the mind is devoted 100% to Krishna, then the Krishna becomes the doer, he becomes the sarthi of the rath, of the chariot. So the charioteer, so the organization of the life has to be changed. Every single decision we take, we should ask, is it my own decision or is it influenced by somebody else's telling me? Is somebody else telling me that you should do this, that's what I'm doing? Or is it something that I have come to a conclusion after thinking so much that yes, this is the right thing for me to do? Then you're doing it. So there is two different things, because when you analyze the whole situation and when you try to make some sense out of the whole thing, you are using your own mind, your own thoughts, and the power of Paramatma ultimately to make a final decision about yourself. So you have to be honest, and you have to be able to reflect upon your own mind. And mind it is still the mind that's going to take you to Krishna. But you have to realize that you have to utilize that mind. Instead of just following everybody else like a herd of sheep, it's not going to take you anywhere. Until you start asking yourself that am I going in the right direction or not? At the end of the day, did I gain anything? And even if you gain materially, is it something that's going to stay with me forever?
Right.
Am I gaining something that's going to stay with me forever or not? At the end of the day, there has to be equation made out, pluses and minuses, and the bottom line is what you take home. That's my accountant always writes.
Take home.
It doesn't matter how much you make, what you take home is all that matters.
But what really matters is how much he takes home.
Right, of
Not you.
course. I think that he meant for himself. So we are discussing this organization of the life that has to be changed, and that's how the chariot of life has to be driven. Now, so we talked about it, the reason we are suffering in this sansar, and the suffering is there. For suffering also, we have to be honest that yes, we call certain pleasures, but then at the end of the day, are we really getting pleasures out of it or not? Is there any suffering behind it? If we did receive the pleasure, how long did it last? and how much it wants us to keep going back and forth and back and forth, and ultimately where does it take us? So the suffering is there only because we have lost our basic nature. Our basic nature is what we talked about, jalasa. Jalasa is like the water to the fish. When the fish leaves the water and then it gets caught in the fisherman's net, and it tries to find out vehicles and this and that and all that. That's how our mind is suffering. It is controlled by the vasana, the desires, the vrittis. So the desire is something that takes us away from where we are. So our realization should be to go back to our own nature of what we are. Once we reach that, there is going to be sense of satisfaction and the sense of achievement of something, rather than running after the objects after other. So our basic nature of the soul, of the Atma or the Jivatma or the Paramatma is the nature of truth and purity. But as soon as we leave all this sense of purity and stability, we become unstable, we become impure, because our desires makes us do things which are not natural to us. And that's where the suffering is. So the real spirituality is in the being, not in becoming. Because when you're trying to become something, that means you say, all right, I have not done enough punya this year. I have not gone enough to temple enough, or this and that. So you think that you have not achieved something. You're doing certain things, and then you always have people around you to make you believe that what you're doing is right
Or wrong, right?
or wrong.
Right.
And then you do those things based on everybody else's opinions, and then you think that you have achieved something, but not realizing that what you're trying to achieve is already there, which you already left. So running and running and running is what makes us tired, and the end of the life we realize that we didn't really achieve anything.
So change is the cause of the problem.
Change is the cause of the,
Or
because we're
desire for
trying to
change. Desire for change.
change if it happens from within is welcome, because the change has to happen.
Right.
As you grow older, like if you were a kid and then as you grow older you decided you want to marry, that's an internal change. Change is going to happen. You don't resist the change either. Change, if it is happening from within, is fine.
So desire for change is the problem.
Exactly.
Desire is a
Desire is
for
a
the
problem,
change.
not the change is a problem.
change is already there. Whether
Change is
change is
gonna
already
happen.
there. It's just a desire.
Yeah, that's what I missed.
That's the problem.
Initially, you know.
Desire does not have to be.
डिजायर आया राइट आपको घूमने जाने का केन्या में आपको डिजायर आया
It's a natural instinct.
दैट्स डिजायर
No, it's not. Desire of
means
something.
chahat. Desire means chahat.
Chahat.
You want.
हाँ you
Okay.
want to go there
No.
No.
But if you don't go, that's okay too.
yeah that's okay
No,
too.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about desires means something you have to have it, and you cannot have it, then you get upset.
no brother.
Not you. I'm not talking about you.
not I'm talking
He
about
misunderstood. That's what he's saying. He
No,
misunderstood.
I don't. I think his point is well taken. He says, okay, you live with a desire to go to, say, Africa. You want to go to Africa.
Yeah.
It's a desire also.
Right.
But it's something, eventually, even that does not have to be there. If you have time, if you have money, if you have this, if you have that, if you have a company, and you want to do that, it's okay too.
Right. Do it if it can.
But if
and
you
not-
cannot do it, that's not the end of the world either.
Right, right.
So it's not something that you want to express yourself to see the world. Nothing wrong with that. If it is within your means and with your right company, you want to do it, that's okay too.
Right.
But the question is, you want to go beyond your means, beyond your desires, beyond basic state, then you can go to traveling also to appreciate how beautiful the world is made by the God. I mean, you see the giraffes and lions moving around in their natural settings. That's an offering to the God itself, because this is something you cannot see it here. So ultimately, you are linking with Paramatma. So whatever activity you do, if you're linking with Paramatma rather than your own pleasure, then it's okay.
No, like own pleasure means drinking, eating,
Exactly,
smoking,
yeah.
those
Your
person-
sensual satisfaction.
sensual
I think that
satisfaction.
eventually, though, his point may be right that the more of those instincts you have, that far away you are.
It will
I think,
disappear.
I think it's a state of mind.
Agree.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do, it's your state of mind.
No. but his point is well taken, and there has been a lot of comments made on this. Say,
Morning.
they say you should not even have a desire to travel unless you're traveling to appreciate the creation of Paramatma. So you go to all these different places to realize, you go to Himalayan mountains and you appreciate the beauty. And even at that time, if Paramatma is in your head all the time and you look at the beauty he has created, you're still offering to, it's a natural world which is created by Paramatma. So ultimately it's your state of mind. But if you say, okay, I want to go and just have pleasure for myself, then it's a wrong way of doing it. But eventually then so much satisfaction will set in your deep inside state of mind that you would not, whether you go, it's okay, whether you don't go, it's okay too. So whether the traveling happens or doesn't happen, it would be, either way you will be the same. It doesn't matter.
लोग चार धाम करने जाते हैं, राइट? चार धाम नहीं करने जाते, तीर्थ यात्रा करने जाते हैं।
Right.
और डिजायर कर तभी जाते हैं, राइट? They
नहीं.
desire.
No.
Yeah.
But but the thing is that the desire for what?
To go to चार धाम.
No, desire to go to Char Dham is fine, one thing.
Yeah.
But ultimate, what is the desire? So that they can...
No, why they are going?
Yeah, exactly. Why are they going?
To
What is
change-
the reason?
To change what?
No, तो ये
to
दर्शन करने के
change
जाते हैं।
that darshan, wait, to
Darshan.
change darshan.
Yeah,
whatever.
No.
Darshan,
Yeah.
but they think that the Bhagwan is in the statues. And going there, they're going to achieve some punya.
Punya. That's
See,
what it is.
पुण्य
हाँ.
जैसे मेरी मम्मी बोलती है कि पुण्य करो या किसको खिलाओ या
Right.
पुण्य, उसका डिजायर है कि मैं पुण्य करूं, दान
Right.
करूं,
क्यों?
दान करूं, क्योंकि
No, see, the
that's
thing-
her wish.
No,
कि
no.
पुण्य-
No,
Yeah.
no. The desire of something, you're going to get something in return. That's what it is.
No.
It's a
Yeah, it
business.
is.
It's a business.
It's a business.
अभी हमारी मम्मी है, वो पुण्य दान करती है,
हाँ,
right?
हाँ,
क्यों
तो
करती
for
है?
what?
तो उसके मन में तो नहीं चाहिए कि मेरे को कुछ पुण्य
नहीं,
मिलेगा।
उसको
पुण्य
मालूम है कि
मिलेगा।
उसने पुण्य किया है, उसका फल उसको मिलेगा. It's a business.
She's doing
Correct?
it. She's,
Whether you want,
she's doing
whether
it
you
for
want the
her,
dog.
for her own gratification.
Exactly.
So the
Exactly.
ego is still there.
It's still
the
there.
self still exists. You know what I'm saying? See, when you do some good deeds with the expectation that punya, some return will come to you, it's a business.
What about if she doesn't expect?
That's the best.
That is the
but
best.
then she does not have to tell you either that you do this and you do this. You will be doing it because she has told you, and you believe that by doing this will be a good thing to do. That's why you will be doing it. No. But when you reach to the state where you feel like doing it, whether somebody has told you or not, then that you don't want anything in return anyway.
No, but when she will do, I will be learn from her that she is doing that.
That's
same
But
thing.
besides the
exactly.
point.
I will learn.
Learn is fine,
Yeah.
but she does not have to tell you that do this. Her actions
But
will show.
Every mother tells.
But that's the wrong thing.
Because
all the mothers have been telling us for thousands of years. And that Rajneesh is saying that's all teachings are wrong. Teaching is like I gave you an example earlier that you are in a room, all right? And during the daytime, somebody comes and tells you that this is where the door is, this is where the table is, and next morning when you wake up, there's going to be darkness. So make sure you familiarize yourself, all right, with all the anatomy of the room so you don't fall. All mothers will tell you, right? Now, you go to bed. You wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark there. But you remember exactly which way the door was, which way the table is, and all that. And you're going to try to walk on the path that your mom told you, right? Now, the only problem is the world that she lived in is different than the world you are living in. So the same scenario is the whole room anatomy changed overnight. While you were sleeping, where the door was, the wall came, and where the wall was, table came, and now you said, I remembered everything. My mom told me that I should be doing this and I should be walking in this direction, and how come I fell? Because the room changed. That's what Osho is trying to say. The world is changing. No one can teach anybody what to do in life. Osho is saying that whatever desires you have, it should be coming from within. If I reach to that state where I feel like helping someone, fine, I'll do it. But not because my mom told me that or my religious leader told me that. So listening to the outside world is a waste of time. We are ready to do all those things because those are easy. Those things are very easy to do. You tell me and I'll start doing it. It's so simple. We've been doing it since we were born, since kindergarten. Every teachers are telling us that do this and this. 10 things to do in life today. And then you go next day, okay, another 10 things. We've been doing it for years. Where have we gone? Has there been any internal change? Nothing. It does not happen that way. That's what I'm saying. So the change has to come from within. And the change will come only when you go and talk to your own self. You know, in Jainism, they have a beautiful word called pratikrama. You know what pratikrama means?
It's
No.
No.
It's not
Let's
circling
see.
around the temple.
No, it's not running around. That's pradakshina. What is pratikrama? Pradeep.
Going back, prati means reverse.
Right.
You are basically reversing yourself.
You know what is
Whatever
atikraman?
It means basically you
what is-
apologize for your past mistakes.
No, that's not true. That's Michami Dukram.
That's what.
That's
no.
Michami Dukram.
Oh, that's what
No.
Harsha told me.
No.
And Harsha is always right.
What did I say? Wait.
That is
What is
true.
pratikrama?
Prati means going back. Kraman means the whole day you did whatever you did, you go back there and analyze.
Oh, brewing.
And
She's
and
right.
you ask if you did anything bad or anything
Right.
to you think you did something.
Right, so going within,
Yeah, right.
basically.
Go
Going
within.
within.
Do you know what is atikraman? Wait. What is atikraman?
Patikraman.
Atikraman.
Ati.
I didn't know what.
Oh, you
Ati
go
means
forward?
forward.
Jada.
Jada.
Atikraman means attack.
Oh, Acha.
Attack. When you're going outside in the world and you think the world is real, that's atikraman. And pratikraman is reverse of that. You go within.
Oh, so
That is the whole idea of pratikraman, is where you go within,
You analyze.
analyze yourself. You can do pratikraman every single day, every single moment.
right.
Pratikama.
Instead of
So
believing
that's
the
why
outside
they-
world,
that's
you
why
believe
Jains,
yourself.
Jains go usually in the temple. You just go sit down.
That's a ritual.
Prati, so-
That's a ritual.
You know, people do it for 45
no,
minutes.
but I mean that's
The
what
whole idea is that,
idea
yes,
is to do that.
you're right.
Yeah.
The idea is that, but people do it mechanically. They just read to go through the books, they read the language, mark the language or whatever, they don't even understand and finish, oh, I did pratikraman.
Yeah.
That's not pratikraman. Pratikraman is going within.
Actually, in pratikrama, you're not supposed. You're supposed to actually read or pray or do the japas. It's not necessary. You're supposed to read.
Oh, whatever it is.
Actually,
Right.
you
Whatever it
just-
is, the
Yeah.
bottom line is doing a ritual, whatever it involves.
Yeah.
But doing anything, people consider that itself as pratikraman.
Right.
And that's not true.
Actually,
Going
right.
within is the whole meaning of the pratikraman is going
Going
within.
within.
So
Going
if those things do not bring you
It should
in,
be a
then it's
meaningful
useless.
activity.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
It should be a meaningful activity. It's
Yeah.
not like you just did it and then you feel good. You did
Science
it.
is
but-
right. Originally, it was told is
Right,
that
right.
Vidudima, basically you kind of do kind of a meditation, just basically within.
Go within.
That's nice.
In short, go within. That's it.
I like Jain
The
religion.
last week was the topic, same thing. Go within.
Yeah.
I think next life I
So
will be
this
born as
week
Jain.
also, main thing is
You
that
can be Jain now.
Exactly.
I am.
You-
There you go. Then
Jain,
why do
that's
you
also
want
desire.
next life?
Okay.
Right?
so main
So-
thing is that you have to go within.
So why can't we go within?
Right.
Why are we doing atikraman instead of pratikraman? Why are we running after the world? And why are not able to go within? Because our vrittis and vasanas are leading us, making us think that there is something else to achieve in the world. That's why we keep on running. And that's why last time we read the example of Buddha says that a wet wood cannot catch a fire. The fire of spirituality will not happen if the wood of your soul is wetted by the vrittis and vasanas. Vrittis and vasanas is the wetness. Wetness, when you try to light up a wood with a wetness, all it produces is dhuan,
Smoke.
the smoke. And there is impurity will spread throughout your life. But the fire, real fire, will not happen until the wood is dry. So the dryness is we have to, by getting rid of the wetness of the vrittis and vasanas, then only the fire will start. But again, getting rid of vrittis and vasanas is not by ritual. It should not be a job that, okay, I'm going to get rid of it. Vrittis and vasanas is because of your unstable mind, chanchal mind. Mind is very chanchal. So Buddha says, how do you handle that? Buddha never said that kill the vrittis or kill the vasanas. He says understand the nature. Understand the nature of your mind. Once you start understanding, you're trying to receive the knowledge about your mind, right? So you have to study your mind. You have to observe your mind and see how unstable it is. Now, traditionally, any knowledge that you want to achieve, you want to put the object in front of you. And then you want to look at it. Then you want to analyze it. You want to study it. You want to shape the size, the color, structure, whatever. But for sure, you and that object are two separate things. For sure. That's the only way you can study it, right? So Buddha is saying, Dhyan is a process where you distance yourself from the mind. And you look at the mind as an unsteady, so-called object, even though it's not an object. You start analyzing your mind. And Buddha knows for sure, it's a scientific process. It does not require any belief or faith or believership, any religion or sect. Nothing is necessary. It's a simple process. It's like hydrogen and oxygen combines, makes water, that anybody can do it. So Dhyan is a simple process. You get rid of all your thoughts, get rid of all your beliefs that I am a Jain, I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim. Forget about all these things. Just do as a scientific process. You start analyzing your mind, what it is doing right now. And then by analyzing, you will realize that you as a soul, as a separate entity, because for anyone to see the change, you have to be steady. That's the only way. If you are moving
The
at
reference has to
120,
be,
the
yeah.
reference has to be a steady point.
Yeah.
Now, if you're traveling in a train at 120 miles an hour and another train is also traveling at the same time, same speed, you cannot tell if the train is moving or not. So to see the change, you have to steady yourself. So Buddha, in fact, he never said that there is God. Buddha and Mahavir, they declined the existence of God only because they said that if we tell them there is God, then people will be starting a journey to look for God.
Right, right.
So then they're going to do atikraman. They're going to go outside in the world, and that's exactly what is happening. Instead of going within, everybody is going without. They're going to Char Dham, they're going to this yatra and that yatra, this temple and that temple. And
My brother.
Right.
Patthar etla puja dev. Every stone is this. So and that is what has happened. That's why Buddhism and Jainism rebelled against this. And they say going within is the most important thing to do. And that's why we have to take a cue from that. So Buddha declined the existence of God. When anybody came looking for it, he says, forget about all these things. There is nothing there. If there is nothing there, then you are not preconditioned with
To look
any
for.
idea what we are looking for.
Right.
And that was a very smart thing to do, and it was very bold also.
Right.
In the days when the Indian culture was dictated by thousands of years of Hinduism and with 33,000 gods and all those
Right.
things, he was bold enough to say that there is no God. Mahavir said the same thing. There is no God. Forget about God. There is Atma, and that's it. But Buddhism says nothing, not even Atma. There is emptiness. All you care is emptiness, and just go with that. Don't expect anything, and go within, and you will find emptiness. But it is emptiness is full. You will
That's
find
what-
out
that's
only when
what
you go
Atma
within
is.
that it's not emptiness. Emptiness is emptiness only when you think the world is your possession.